In today's video tutorial, I'm going to share with you a really easy and fun monster themed Halloween cake, or it could actually be for Halloween or for monster themed parties. We are going to be decorating bundt cakes, and today we're working with 2 small bundt cakes that we made in a 6-cup pan, but you could also easily transfer the idea to just a standard size bundt cake. So these are going to be super fast to make and I think really cute. Okay, so you can see I already have my small bundt cake on this little pedestal, and I'm going to now use my tinted vanilla buttercream. This is just our classic recipe, and I have my piping bag fitted with a grass tip. I'm just going to pipe fur all over the top of the cake and just pull straight up however long you want your fur to be. If it's too soft, you can mix in a little powdered sugar, or if it gets too hot as you're working with it, you can just pop it in the freezer for maybe 5 minutes so the consistency is a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so we're just going to take this all the way around and we'll meet right back. Okay, so I've made it about halfway down, and I had considered stopping at the halfway point, if not before, but I think I kind of like just the furry all over look just for this design. So I'm going to take the frosting all the way down, but I did want to mention I think it would still be really cute just to only decorate the top if that's what you have time for, or if that's just the look that you like. So we'll meet back once the frosting is completely covering the cake. Okay, as you can see, I'm finished with all of the buttercream fur, and you can even stack fur on top of fur if you want it to look a little more full. But now I am going to move on to adding the eyes, and for the eyes I'm using white chocolate truffles. These are great to have on hand for big eyes if you need that, or we've used them in several other projects. At Christmas we use them as little Christmas ornaments on a wreath that we had. But you could also use just a ball of fondant if you don't want to get truffles, or you could think up, I'm sure, other different types of candy that you could use also. For the iris, I'm just making this into a Google eye today. So I have some black fondant. I cut out the black part with a medium-sized round tip, but that doesn't really matter. All that matters is that it's a standard size piping tip. We just use the bottom part. Okay, so now we have 2 perfect circles, and I like to chill my truffles in the freezer for about 5 minutes before I use them, just as I would with any chocolate decoration. Just keeps them from melting. And then I'm going to place it right onto the cake. And in just a second, I'm going to add some teeth. And really, it's kind of funny even without teeth, but we'll add some chocolate teeth in a second. I did want to add just a couple of little dots. And this is just my small round piping tip. This is a tip 3, but I think it just adds a little bit of more personality to the eyes. And finally, for the teeth, if you decide to do teeth, you can take white candy melts. I'm using these chocolate wafers, but really any kind of chocolate candy coating wafers are good for this. Let me scoot these over. Okay, so for this, I just went the really easy route, and I have my little round candy coating discs, and I'm just chopping them into thirds or fourths. And then you can either use kind of long teeth, or if you want little kind of stubby teeth, you can just cut those into little chunks. But I think it's just a really super easy way to get some quick teeth for your monsters. And you can make them even wider if you'd like to. Okay, so I'll probably just play around for a second and figure out what size teeth I want to use. But for instance, here's one. We'll scoot this forward. And I'm just going to push it into the frosting, but right above the hole of our cake. And I think that just kind of looks funny. Maybe we'll just do a few. If your teeth were longer, and assuming that they're nice and thick, you could even push the teeth into the actual cake itself. But the frosting seems to be holding it nicely, so I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll do a few on the bottom. Same thing. And instantly we have this kind of a goofy looking monster. Okay, so now I'm doing the same thing with our second bundt cake. This time I'm using a Wilton tip 21 star tip, and I'm just piping stars, except for I'm pulling them straight up so it gives sort of a spiky look, and I'm just bringing the spikes in all different directions. And you can also just do all different sizes of these little spikes if you'd like to. This goes faster than the grass tip, and I think it also just has kind of a fun look that's perfect for our monsters. So I'm just going to continue covering the frosting, covering the cake in frosting, just like we did with our first cake. And we'll meet back in just a little while. Okay, so you can see now I have my green monster. I did it the same way. I just gave this one 3 teeth instead of several. So anyway, I think they're ugly but cute all at the same time. I'm gonna add again these little white dots. It's optional. I usually put mine a little bit off, up, kind of to the right, not centered. And that's it. Okay, so our monster cakes are finished. I think they're so funny and fun, perfect for parties, and I'm sure everyone would love them. They're really, really easy to make, as you saw, so I hope you'll keep these in mind for your next monster themed party.